Alexa, stop. Hey everybody, this is Expat Chris coming directly from Yucatán, Mexico, live. And I actually need to send an email to everyone. Wait a few seconds while I hit the send button. All right, that's out. So we'll get some more people live on here. If you've already subscribed and clicked on that bell notification, then you're probably seeing this right now, which is fantastic. I'm going to talk relatively briefly about my Mexican home renovation that I am currently doing. All right, so I've lived in Mexico for nearly 5 years, a little over 4.5 years. I started in Playa del Carmen because a friend was getting married there and I wanted to do a round the world tour. So I originally wanted to go to Thailand, but it wound up that we came to Mexico first. Wasn't the plan, but because of a wedding I was going to be in for a friend, that's what happened. And we kind of fell in, my love really fell in love with Mexico. And so we batted around Quintana Roo before making it over here in Yucatan. So I've lived in Merida and various Yucatan beach communities, and I really got used to the area over 4.5 years to where I actually, we both of us wanted to settle down. Some of that was because I had a seizure and I've slowed down a lot. Good thing I was already living in Mexico, so slowing down here is a lot easier than some other places, to say the least. And quite honestly, the pandemic changed some things for us, to say the least. And then we just we're not going to travel. We're not going to do a round the world tour like we originally envisioned because it's a little hard to do that nowadays. So we're not. So we decided to buy a home. We looked, we found one we liked, and we purchased it. It took 8 months to get this place. So it wasn't easy. It did take a while, and we can discuss a little bit about that right now. Okay, so it was probably now 9 months ago, or roughly, that my love, Dan, actually was going out looking for houses and whatnot. I was still recovering from my seizure, so I wasn't able to go out much. I'm a lot better, by the way. And so she went to go see this place that I'm in right now, the place we bought. And she liked it, and so she had me come back and take a look at it. I saw a lot of potential. It did need some work. This isn't a place like at the time we were staying in a condo on the beach, just a few kilometers west of here. And it was very nice, actually really nice, very nice, what they call Canadian standard, same thing as American standard and everything. The plumbing, electricity, the niceness of everything. It was really, really nice place. And change my air conditioning. And I saw a lot of potential, but it needed some work to be done. And due to a neighborhood zoning issue, which took 6 months to fix, not something that was normal, to say the least. And then the pandemic was a factor in that some government offices that we needed things to go through and whatnot were not open at times, or extremely limited business hours. And so we had to go around 3 different rentals just to stay in the area because we couldn't find anything that was long enough. We also didn't know how long we needed to go on top of that. And so we kind of bounced around the 3 different places before the house finally closed. Once it closed, it was real quick. Actually, the very end of it was really, really quick, really easy. And so I can highly recommend our realtor and our lawyer, notary, which is more, it's actually a lawyer down here, different than the US, to get the house closed. The seller was motivated. He had a hard time selling the place because it needed some fixing up. And so he was motivated to make this happen as well. And so they just kind of waited the process out and finally got in. We've been in for a little, almost 3 weeks or so, and we've had a lot happen in that time. So I got some notes here. Let me bring them up on a lot of things that have been happening. All right, so we did hit the place pretty hard. When we got a walk through the day before closing, we noticed some things a little bit more clearly. We wrote up a list of what we wanted to get done immediately, and so we closed the next day, and we moved in 2 days later. We had the day after we closed, we had a deep clean team hit the place to really get it up to snuff so that we could at least live in it. We were going to live in it while we did the renovations, and which is kind of which was a bit big to do. It needed to be comfortable enough that this would, not be a horrible process, to say the least. So all day they cleaned it, and then the next day we moved in. At first, it was a little rough. The first week was rough. The first 2 days, especially, we had some places in the house that smelled bad. Fortunately, the bedroom wasn't, and the living room, we had to keep the windows open, otherwise they got really awful. So we had to deep clean some sections 3 times to get rid of that problem, actually. And we had to have the outside walls cleaned because of mold. You have to do that every few years here because it's so close to the beach. I mean, we're on the beach, so the ocean's right there, Gulf of Mexico. But so we had to get that, and we actually had to demolition one of the kitchens. We have 2 kitchens. The nice main house one, the main kitchen, we couldn't get it to rid of the smell, and so we had to demolish it. Having that happen took about a day. Fortunately, I went into Merida, a nearby town, city, for the day and didn't have to hear it because it's mostly concrete, and getting rid of concrete is really loud. It's amazing how loud that can be. And that took a day, and I think it was roughly around $100, $100 US to get that done. I came back from shopping all day, shopping for household stuff, with a pile of concrete that used to be in my kitchen on the street. We had to pay extra for the palm tree branches that were trimmed. We had a tree trimmer come immediately. They were actually free, which was kind of cool, because they kept the coconuts, and the coconuts had value. They probably resold them to people that did, cocoa frios. They would chill a coconut, and then they would open it up, and you could drink the coconut water right out of the shell. You see it in a lot of touristy areas, and we have some of that here as well. So they probably sold them to those people and made probably a healthy profit. So it was worth the time to come over and trim palm trees. We actually told them which palm leaves to trim because the palm trees in front of our house and between us and the beach, there's quite a few of them, and it was a little dense. We actually couldn't see the beach. We couldn't see the ocean, which is horrible. From the living room and the master bedroom and other bedroom we have. It's a 3-story house, so we couldn't see it from almost anywhere except for the bottom floor you could. Because the palm trees are fairly mature, they're pretty tall. So we had them trim specific ones so that we could have a view. We have a view from the living room, the kitchen that doesn't exist right now. We're going to have that's going through a redesign right now, and the master bedroom floor up. Do have views now, which is really nice, and that didn't cost us anything. Now we do have a dead palm tree that we want to get rid of, actually on the street side. That is going to cost probably a couple $100 actually to get rid of that from our network of locals. That's about the price to get that done. Maybe a little bit less. We'll see how that works out. Haven't happened yet. I mentioned outside walls had to be cleaned because of the mold. That's a standard thing. And then there's going to be like a little sealer. We have what is called chacum concrete. So concrete, of course, everything's made out of concrete here. We can get hurricanes here. In fact, last summer we were maybe 20 kilometers west of here, but we had to bug out due to a hurricane that got a little bit close to this area, caused some flooding and whatnot. Turns out that the condo we were staying in didn't have a problem. And we were only gone. We went into Merida because it's a little bit safer there. It's more inland for a couple of days. So it cannot be not a big deal, but occasionally happens. Not a lot, but occasionally. It's not like it's not like New Orleans, in Texas and Florida. They get it almost every year. They get hit multiple times. Here, it hasn't happened in many years, honestly. This one was a little close last year. It did cause some damage in some places and some flooding. Actually, some severe flooding in some communities, major flooding for months afterwards because they changed the water table. It was kind of severe for that, but typically on the beach, not a problem. Actually, the more inland I had that. So we had some of the stuff we did immediately, and then once we got that done, our electrician and plumber, same person, and his team of 3 came in, and they were here for 2 weeks, almost every day, having to redo all the wiring in the house. It was major. Most of the outlets had to be redone. They were bad, caused shocks. One of them was completely missing, but just had open wires. If you touched it, you'd kill yourself. So we had all that. They stuck tree lights on the palm trees. Which is fantastic because at night we can turn those lights on, and we can see the palm trees being lit up from below, and it looks really pretty. We get a nice view of our palm trees even at night. They also installed a reverse osmosis machine. They replaced all the faucets and the shower heads. Those big, huge ring ones. We got a really nice one in the master bedroom, big, huge one, awesome. From a Mexican brand, actually made in Mexico. Made a lot of really good stuff here in Mexico. We're looking at maybe having to get a water pressurizer because the water on the top floor doesn't come out really fast. And the shower, though, downstairs on the bottom floor comes out great. So we may put a water pressurizer to kind of even that up. That's really the only place I've noticed where I wish the shower and the master bedroom was a little bit stronger. So we may do that. We're looking at that. He's basically like Christian, the plumber guy, and his team are done. They finished. They stuck outside lights. They fixed all the wiring. They stuck in the RO, as I mentioned, faucets, shower heads, and it came out really great. They also moved our clothes dryer, which was in our living room, guest bathroom, which was bizarre. It's like in the middle, next to the toilet and sink, right in the middle, actually. It didn't make any sense. We do have a laundry room downstairs with a washer, so we had them move it down there, and it runs on gas, which is very common around here. The stove is on gas. and dryers, even though most people do not have a dryer at all. It's mostly foreigners that have a dryer, just because if you're from the U.S., Canada, or even Europe, and you live here, not having a dryer seems odd. But most people don't. And we've stayed in many houses. We've stayed in nearly 30 houses the last 4.5 years here in Mexico, the Yucatán Peninsula, and we've never had a dryer. Actually, one place didn't even have a washer. We bought one, and then we traveled around with it, actually. But this place does, and of course we brought our own, so we have 2 washers. We only have the one hooked up, and move the dryer downstairs. And then you had to do the gas line to get to it, and all that. And done. But we got that. It makes more sense for us to have it on the same level, at least, and not have to go up and down the stairs so much. The bathroom here in the living room, main floor, kitchen that doesn't exist right now. I'm going through a remodel, and a living room. We had to rip out the sink and the stand because it smelled. It had gone bad, and we got a sink also made here in Mexico, and had the electrician plumber guy install it. And so now that doesn't smell in there anymore, and we have a really cool looking sink. I'll show pictures of that at another time, but it's very nice, nicely done. We've also gotten one room painted, which I do have some photos on. And we painted a nice ocean blue, and it cost about $100 US to paint that room. It took them 2 days, and we have the rest of the house to paint inside as well to do. We're coming next week to do the master bedroom and master closet, and then the living room. And then we'll be done with that, and then we're going to start on the pool, which we have a guy coming Sunday, tomorrow, to give us a quote on that. We've actually talked to several pool people. We really network a lot. That's how you find people to work on your house. Here, it's not ads or brochures. It's completely word of mouth on who is actually good. So our realtor has been really great because he also does renovations. He's not just a realtor. He actually buys places and then turns around, fixes them up, and then rents them out on Airbnb. And so he kind of gets the renovating thing and working it. So he's like, oh, this guy's really good at electricity and plumbing. This guy's good at painting. This guy is good at this and that. We have a woodworker that is going to custom design the kitchen and the master closet. And those are going, my love man is actually working with him over WhatsApp, just sending pictures and text messages on what she wants it to look like. So at night she'll stick them on the big TV here and show me the latest designs. I give some feedback, and she has it changed, and the next day I get to see what's new. Those are almost finalized. I think the kitchen is finished, and the closet I think is finished. It's design-wise, and so he's going to take a week or 5 days, I think it is, to quote the prices for that. You can actually get custom design things done and installed for a very reasonable price here in Mexico. In the U.S., that type of thing you'd have to spend quite a bit of money to have that done, which is why people go to Home Depot and kind of do it themselves, which you can do here. We have a Home Depot, we have a Costco, we have a Sam's Club, we have a lot of American brands, we have a lot of really high-end furniture stores, but furniture here in Mexico is really expensive, way more than the U.S. It's almost all imported. Now, some of the faucets we bought and shower heads were actually made in Mexico, some Mexican brand. They were not cheap. In fact, it was a little surprising how much they were. and quite honestly, so some things, Mexico, some things are cheap or affordable, and then just like, you got to be kidding me, expensive as well. It kind of it varies, but also shipping your furniture down here isn't cheap either. So you have to look into that. But we got rid of all our furniture, and we had only some mementos in storage, which we're going to have to look at, getting shipped down here. But we got rid of all our furniture because, of course, we were going to go do a worldwide tour that got interrupted. So we're settling down, and so we're having to start, basically from scratch. This couch I bought on Facebook Marketplace. It was used, and an assistant that we like to use a lot that helps us out with some things knew a guy that did this professionally. He cleaned couches, furniture professionally. So he had he shuttled them up. He was from Merida, so he shuttled them over here to the beach to clean it when we bought it. We got this back, I think, in February, and cleaned it up. I mean, it's like brand new. He was amazing. Do it. And so this couch, which is quite big, it's got 3 major sections. We're not using all of it. Got some of it's back here, actually. For like $450 US on Facebook Marketplace, plus I think maybe a little less than $100 to clean it. And it's totally worth it. I mean, it's a really nice couch. And so that was one way you can get furniture that's not new. Because if you go into the big store, the nice store, it's almost like Neiman Marcus. It's called Liverpool. It's a cross between Dillard's and Neiman Marcus. It's very nice. You can go in there and buy expensive watches, you name it, big enormous TVs and things like that, and furniture. And furniture for like a nightstand is like 10,000 pesos. I have to convert that. Sure. Hold on, I'll ask my computer what that is. But hold on. I think it's a couple $1,000, but I'm not great at math, so that's why I was look it up. Oh, $500. $500 for a teeny tiny nightstand. Something that if you went to Target or something probably cost you $50. Yeah, if that. I know I haven't shopped at Target in quite a long time, so I'm not even sure anymore. But it seems kind of expensive. You can actually get some of that stuff made by hand from an artisan here in Mexico. And sometimes that is maybe the same price or cheaper. So always look into that and like just getting it done. Now we're working with a woodworking guy who's going to do the closet and the kitchen redesign and some tables. We got a TV stand that we want. He's going to design that. A couple of C tables, for around the couch. We love C tables. We'd love to have one. Right now, I'm just using a TV tray, actually, and we're going to see what those are pricing. But that's what I'm being told from a lot of other foreigners, expats living here, and even some locals, especially a realtor who really knows the pricing on a lot of stuff of what what really pricing are. And so why you would go to Liverpool to buy, or some of these other high-end furniture stores in Merida? I mean, they got stuff from Danish design, made in over in Europe and imported over here, way out more outrageous prices. Thousands and thousands of dollars for a nightstand type of places. And you can do that, but it's more; those places are more geared towards the rich Meridans. There is a segment of Merida that are very rich. Like you see, Porsches and fancy sports cars and Lamborghinis driven around town, all the time. There are extremely wealthy Mexicans that live here. In fact, the beach area, most of the houses aren't used very much. They're used in July and August. Right now, it's high season. A lot of the rich Meridans come out here to enjoy the beach, and then they go back to Merida. And the rest of the year, except for around Christmas and around Easter, for like a week or maybe two, they use it. But the rest of the year, they literally don't use some of these big, huge mansions on the beach at all. It's kind of bizarre. And it can get kind of quiet. Right now, no, we're at peak capacity. When we go to the beach and get in the Gulf of Mexico, we do see a lot of people also doing the same thing, enjoying the weather. But the weather right here, not right now, is just so nice. So I understand why they come out in July and August. It's perfect. It's just really great. Even though the winter here is fantastic as well, it does cool off a little bit, but just a little bit. Not a lot. And so it's very tropical around the year, which is one thing I love about this area. And so I do like that, and why we live here, actually. So it's a big deal. So we are enjoying that, enjoying that. Okay, the room. Let me show you some pictures. Here we go. That's a video. Okay. So this is the bottom floor. That's the ocean back there. That's our fence. And this is our other couch, not this one. And we painted this room this blue, darker blue, turquoise, kind of goes with the ocean, I think. And the other half is this lighter blue. This is the kitchen that we're using because we had demolition of the other one. And so we have a two-tone, we have an accent wall and another wall. Highly recommend if you do that, by the way. I like having a color to the room, but two colors instead. This is outsider, that's me and my honey. This is outside, this is our beach, right in front of our beach. And that's it. This was the kitchen here. This used to be a cabinet, that's our stove. And this is what we had them remove. This whole area, this used to be kitchen and everything. This is going through a remodel. This is right behind me. And we're going to have an island again. We had it before, but the stove is going to be moved over to the wall instead of being in the middle. And the sink that used to be here is going to be on the island, so that when I'm doing a lot of sink work or whatnot, I can see the ocean, which is over here, in the living room where I'm at right now, which is over there. So that's a lot of what's going on. I mentioned the painting in the room was a little less than $100, and we were going to paint the rest of the house hopefully next week. As well before we start on the pool and the pathways, and we're going to raise the wall on either side so we have a little bit more privacy from our neighbors, because we're 3 stories tall and our neighbors are, one's 2-story and one is really 1 story. And we wanted to raise it up so that they really can't see us from the bedroom balcony or the living room. Because right now I can actually see our next door neighbor's pool. And I don't want to really see that, so we're going to raise the wall a little bit on that, and install a pool and some concrete walkways. All our property is all sand, and so when when we go from the main house, which is levels 2 and 3, to the bottom floor, you actually have to walk through some sand, and we get sand everywhere. So we're going to put a pathway from the street door all the way to the beach installed. And then we're going to stick in a wood shade area near the pool as well, and then eventually a steam room to go with the pool. For health reasons, we like steam rooms. So that's all some projects that are going to be coming up in the future that we're looking forward to doing. Thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. We really love actually living here in Mexico, and we love living here, and so we're really renovating our dream home that we want to stay in, and retire. I retired a little bit early, and so I'm enjoying living on the beach in Mexico and having a nearby city that's about an hour away that has everything. It just has, really everything. It's a big city. It really does have almost everything I would ever want in a big city. And so if we need anything, we're able to go to the big city and get it. Also, we do get Amazon Mexico. They do deliver here. It's great. I've already gotten to know my DHL delivery guy because he's come a few times already. And if we're missing something that's not, something we need all that quickly, I'll order it on Amazon Mexico. It does take a couple of weeks, so it's not quick. Like some of you guys in the U.S. and Canada, and probably parts of Europe as well, where you can get it the same day or maybe the next day. Now it does take a couple of weeks. The main warehouse for Mexico is outside Mexico City, which is actually quite a ways from here. It's like a 2-day drive, like full blown days. It's a ways. You can't take a plane over there, but it's a long ways from here. They are building an Amazon warehouse though outside of Merida, the southwest part of Merida. I don't think that's done yet, which will probably drop our shipment times to hopefully like 3 or 4 days. But that hasn't opened yet. But Amazon Mexico is actually really good. Highly recommend it. It's got a fairly good, decent selection. Some things are imported, and when you import something into Mexico, it is taxed. Almost everything. I bought a book, a paperback, that wasn't, so paperbacks aren't. But a lot of other things, especially if it's an electronic device, is taxed. There is an import tax. If it's Amazon, it does go through customs. Amazon makes sure that tax is paid. They tell you up front. So it's nice, and it does come in without a problem. We bought some things from non-Amazon sources. Like once I bought an electronic fancy thing directly from China, and it got stuck in customs, and I tried for 2 months to get it out of customs and couldn't. Eventually, they returned it to China. So it didn't work. They didn't know how to tax it apparently, and just tax me on it. It was only a couple $100, but it just got nowhere with them. So, and also we've imported some health liquids, and pills and vitamins and whatnot. Wow, Mexico doesn't allow that. Every time I do that, it gets confiscated. So don't do it. You have to go through the legal procedure to import those type of things, which is actually a big deal. You have to set up an import company, apparently, to do that. So you actually have to go to the health food stores in Merida, which we do. We have a number of them. We know them all. We go to them and buy it, and stuff is pricey. It's expensive to get it. Some of it is on Amazon, Mexico as well. Some of the stuff that we buy a lot of really major health things that aren't normal. You don't get them in normal grocery stores at all, even in the U.S., except for maybe Whole Foods. That we get, and on Amazon Mexico, same thing. It's pricey because they've had to import it into Mexico, and Mexico loves taxing vitamin stuff a lot if they even allow it in. If you do the proper channels and have an import company fit. So some things that it would be like $5 in the U.S. Are $50 here. Some of the weird stuff that we take. So, and then some other things, here in Mexico, it's just really inexpensive. It does vary a lot. And then getting custom-made things. We have these sconces being made right now, and there's a town nearby that is famous for this. You go in there, and there's this whole road full of places that sell custom-made stonework. And so we went in there into one of them that we liked, and we picked a design we liked. It was a showroom basically, and they're making them right now of this particular stone that actually a lot of the Mayan ruins are made out of. That same stone that you see at the big, huge pyramids here, and they're making sconces into it. We modified it slightly for our house, and we're having, I think, 24 of those made. And is costing upwards to maybe $600 for all of them. In the U.S., that would be many, many, many thousands of dollars to have that custom made for you. You would just go to Home Depot and pick the design that you like best. I don't know how that would be. Maybe similar to price, maybe, if it was made out of plastic. But these are actually stone. They look awesome. And you have a light behind it. They're all ready to go. Our electrician's got it all set up. And when we get those in, he'll come back and install them because it is stone and they need to be glued to the concrete wall. And it's going to look awesome, type of thing. So you can get custom stonework done for a very affordable price, which was just not possible in the U.S., Canada, and probably even Europe. Done here, and along with the woodworking, looking like we haven't gotten the price yet, but from what we've been told, it's very reasonably priced. We're really looking forward to having some of that custom stuff done in the house. The painting was very affordable. Totally recommend when you move into a new place to just have it repainted, cleaned and whatnot. Start fresh. It doesn't cost that much to get it painted. And this wall, which I'm not going to even show you, is a horrible green color. We're going to paint it probably the same color as the one downstairs. This nice turquoise. A nice thing. Well, I think we're going with a brown actually. This room and blue in the master bedroom. But it's going to be really nice, and it blends in with the Chacum concrete walls. Instead of having to paint the outside, which gets a lot of wear and tear because of the ocean being right there. And you literally would have to repaint the outside every year. Which you can get hired done and whatnot. But you can have this Chacum finish on concrete done, which is done with a wood resin and a burning process. It gives it a nice texture and a nice look to it, a finished look to it. It doesn't look like concrete, but it is concrete, and so it's really hardy. And it's like only every few years you want to just wash it. We have a team that does that. They just did it to the house when we moved in, and it really does look awesome. And you only want the paint for the interior areas because it's a normal house. The interior is okay. It doesn't wear nearly as much as the outside. So that's what's going on interior design-wise here in Yucatán, Mexico, right on the beach. If you're liking this and you're wanting to know more, I'm going to show some more about the house in the future with some videos on what the renovation is like. Make sure you subscribe, click like on this video, even though this video is not going to be up for very long, to say the least. And when it's live, I don't leave it up. Make sure you definitely hit that subscribe and that bell notification so that next time I do this, you will get notified, especially in the live streams like this. And in the future, if you're not on the newsletter, go join my newsletter at expatrebel.com/newsletter. And of course, I will send you an email when I do a live stream and when I have a new video. And I do write some articles as well that aren't videos on what it is like to be retired early in Mexico. Very nice. It's my favorite part of Mexico so far. That we, really settled down to, and I'll show you what it's like to live here. Honest reviews on it. Of course, we love it. I've traveled a lot through Europe. Stayed in Paris for a month and a half straight, and London, and Scotland, Wales, and Italy, especially Venice, and everything. Plus Panama, and of course Mexico quite a few times. And I really do like Mexico. It's nice. I do like the Caribbean as well. But one of the advantages of Mexico is that you can live on the beach and have that Caribbean vibe, which I love, but you don't have the Caribbean price. You got Mexican pricing. It's a big country. It's huge. They make a lot of stuff here. You don't have to get everything. Doesn't have to be imported, except for electronics and some comfy furniture is imported. But a lot of other things, labor, groceries, someone's not really fancy, extremely healthy stuff, which can get a little pricey. A lot of things, most of the things that we use here is very, very, very affordable. Where when you're living, because I used to live in the Bahamas, living in the Bahamas, going to the grocery store was a sticker shock of how expensive, how limited the selection. It was like going, the biggest grocery store I went to in the Bahamas was the size of a convenience store. There's not a lot of selection. Here we have enormous grocery stores, tons of different ones. We have Walmart, we got Chedraui, Soriana, Costco, and Costco, honestly, is really plush here because all the really nice stuff that you want, like if you want a chair, you want a kayak, you want a big TV and whatnot, Costco has the best deals. And now the locals will call it cost more, and it's true, it's pretty high-end stuff that they have there, but when you want that, go Costco. It's good. Even though we got Sears and we got Liverpool and we got big, huge malls. In fact, one mall has an ice skating rink in it, and extremely nice stores here. They got all the name brands, all the high-end stuff from the U.S. is here, and some, of course, come with price tag, and some don't actually. Some have really great pricing. It varies drastically around here, but overall, yes, it makes it very affordable to get things done here. Living here, where I used to live in San Diego, in Southern California, would be multiple millions of dollars to do, and this was under $300,000 to do it. And the renovations, though, I don't quite know what that's going to cost total. Definitely going to go over $300,000 US to get this place done right. But I wouldn't be able to even do a shack or a garage in LA for that. And so here it's very affordable. You can do that. There are cheaper places to live in, especially in Merida, that you can live in if you're not, where you can buy a home because it's all cash here. There's no mortgage. You can get, a place, a very nice place, a very comfortable place, American standard things in Merida for less than $600 in the U.S. to renting a place. And if you want to compromise on how fancy it is, you can even go lower than that. I've known some people that have living at 350 US a month in Merida. Not bad, but not quite what you may be used to if you live in the U.S. or Canada. And there's other parts of Mexico where you can get down to $150 a month, but you're living pretty poorly on that. Unfortunately, if you're in a situation like that, you can do that here. As long as you got retirement income that you can show, you can retire here. Or another way to do it is through buying a home. And right now there's a weird program, I don't know how long it'll last, and I did blog about this on my website at expatrebel.com. Click on Living in Mexico and you'll see it. You happen to be living, if you happen to be in Mexico on an expired tourist visa, and you've been to Mexico before on other tourist visas, you can go in and get temporary residency up to 4 years, no questions asked. You don't have to prove income, you don't have to buy a place, you have to do nothing. You have to show up at the immigration office and fill out a bunch of forms. Now, I got a Merida guidebook that I have the person I know that does this. Just takes care of all the details. You literally just show up and sit in front of the immigration officer while they stamp a bunch of stuff. You get maybe 1 or 2 questions, and that guy is right next to you handling it. And you don't even have to know Spanish to get this done. And I've talked to a few that have done this, and you can get your residency card in a week. Of course, a lot of expats that have bought a house or had proven retirement income, which is a process and does take some time and costs money to get done, and you have to leave the U.S. and enter with all the paperwork to make that happen, are upset because now it's like really easy. But you have to be in Mexico already on an expired visa. The tourist visa is 6 months. Is this, if you're not here yet, is this going to be, in effect 6 months from now? I have no idea. They're being kind of hush-hush about it. They're doing it because of the pandemic, and that there was a lot of people overstaying the tourist visa because they don't want to travel. They're older. They want to retire here, but because of all the restrictions, and also you tend to get corona when you travel, and so there are people that just don't want to travel at all, and they wanted something to kind of handle that. That's what they've done. It's gotten out through the network, Expat network, that this is available, and so people that are in that particular situation are taking advantage of it. And who knows how long they'll last. Sorry if you're not here. I don't know if they'll happen. They got these rules in place probably to avoid that from people doing that. You're going to have to go through the normal routes, which have been here for many decades, of either buying a place over a certain amount, or having so much in guaranteed retirement income, Social Security, or a retirement fund from your previous work, type of thing, over a certain amount. Not terribly a lot, but yeah, it can't be, that you had a business. No matter how much the business pays you, it doesn't count. So I got a business. I'm kind of retiring early, but I can prove it. Hey, I got all this income. It's like they don't care. So I went the route of buying a house. Why not? And then this little program came out where it makes it a lot easier. I actually found out about it a couple of days before my house closed. So I was like, oh, okay. I'm not upset about it because I didn't want to have to travel anymore. I wanted to get a place, spruce it up really nice, and kind of settle down and make it really comfy. Kind of a mini resort feeling to the place. And so I was very happy about buying a place. It's just that that's how the timing came out. It was kind of funny that happened. So that's it from here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so that you hear more about this. And if you're not on the newsletter, go over to expatrebel.com/newsletter and get that. Thanks to you all for joining me live for Expat Rebel Community Livestream, and I will see you next time.